There's a burning building, right? And you have 10 fertilized embryos and 3 live babies, and it's burning, and you only have an option to choose one. Which one are you saving?
That's a tough question. I mean, first of all, that's it depends if the embryos will ever be used. That's the better question. So if you can guarantee the embryos will then be used into full fertilization, then to be consistent, you would have to save the 10 embryos. Okay. If they're fully fertilized, then will be used, yes. But the 3 babies have already gone through the entire gestational period, survived potential miscarriages, other side of birth-related issues. But that's a fair and very good question that to be principled, you have to answer it a certain way.
Oh my God, my old debate buddy Charlie Kirk is up to it again on the exact same topic where he has no business speaking and he never makes a sensical point when he does. So in a moment, I'm going to not only show you the classic, but I'm going to show you how I owned Charlie Kirk to his face multiple times, many times in a row. You will see all of the clips shortly. First, the classic clip, before we get into ones you probably have not seen, of me to Charlie Kirk's face proving that he's completely disingenuous when he pretends with his fake thought experiment that clearly he doesn't believe. He's just intellectually making a point that clearly makes no sense upon any scrutiny whatsoever. He doesn't even know what an embryo looks like, whether it's human or whether it's animal, and he therefore proves that obviously that is not a human life, because you can tell when people are next to animals, because at that point they're very clearly different things and they have actually begun existing in life and are not in the very beginning phases of just simply developing, which is before something is born, which is when life is generally determined. So first, a classic clip.
Question, do human beings have tails?
I'm not exactly sure the essence of the question.
Do human beings have tails? Do you have a tail?
I have never met anyone with a tail. I'm not exactly sure the
Exactly, but fetuses have tails. Kind of proves that at that phase, they are not a human being. They got tails. Humans don't have tails. We're not dinosaurs. Let me even show you a photo, if I may, okay? Do you truly, in your heart of hearts, truly believe that this is a human being? This?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt?
Yes.
This is a dolphin fetus.
So let me...
Without a doubt, a dolphin fetus is a human being. This is a human fetus. Look how similar they look, but quite different. Dolphin. You just confirmed that a dolphin, in life, do you confuse dolphins for human babies often?
So let me ask you a question.
You go to SeaWorld and you're like, someone's got human babies in that aquarium. Get the human babies out of the aquarium.
Well, you labeled it as a human fetus.
No, I
did
not.
That dishonestly.
No, I did not.
So there was that. That one set the internet on fire, and for obvious reasons. But there's this one where he admits an embryo or a fetus is not a human life yet, because he's able to qualify the amount of life based on the development of a fetus, and you would never qualify the amount of a living, breathing human being.
Why do you think late-term abortion is so bad?
Well, I think late-term abortion is morally equivalent with abortion in the first trimester.
Oh, you don't think there's any difference?
Well, I do. I think that it gets worse because the baby can feel pain and it becomes even more developed.
Oh, perfect. So you prove my point.
I think it's more grotesque.
It becomes even more developed.
It becomes more grotesque.
That's my point.
Is that the question?
Human life
it
doesn't
becomes
do
more
that.
Brutal.
You would never be more angry at a mother that killed a living baby at 3 years old than you would if they killed a baby at 1 year old. But with a fetus, you do.
Here, Charlie tries to get me by asking me what species a fetus is, and I own him back pretty hard, pretty immediately.
Is growing.
What species
is a woman?
Fetus?
A woman is a human being.
A fetus. What species is it?
It will become a Homo sapien.
So it's not current. When does that species change?
At birth. How hard is this concept?
So wait.
We keep
hold on a
saying
second.
birth.
So you're making an argument.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden the baby goes through metamorphosis of a species change? That's a unique and very bizarre argument.
I never said species change. I said it's becoming a full, living, breathing Homo sapien.
So, but what is it before? So what
happens.
Species is a fetus?
And what species is sperm?
It's
egg?
neither human nor anything.
What species is the egg from a woman?
It's an undeveloped part of a male or undeveloped part of a female.
And a fetus is an undeveloped baby.
But Charlie makes very clear he thinks that abortion, even now getting rid of frozen embryos, is as bad as murder of a living human being.
To be consistent, you would have to save the 10 embryos.
And how come sometimes Charlie Kirk's okay with murder? Because he admits sometimes abortion's okay. Check this out.
You're so against abortion and protecting lives.
Well, I'm very pro-baby.
But you are okay with abortion if it saves a woman's life. Why?
So actually, I will clarify that. That's so exceedingly rare. And in fact, over 1,000 OBGYNs, nurses, and neonatologists signed a declaration stating, quote, as experienced practitioners and researchers in gynecology, we affirm that direct abortion, the purposeful destruction of an unborn child, is almost never medically necessary to save the life of a woman. So in the extraordinarily rare case, which is so hard to find and pinpoint,
it's not so hard to find. It happens, and there's many
very rare. Well, these
millions of
1,000
documented cases.
OBGYNs say no.
That's great, and there's a lot that say yes, and it happens, and you're aware it happens. So try not to use a distracting statistic. You're okay with it in those rare instances. Why?
Because there could be other children in the future that
right.
could be born.
That's my whole argument.
However,
if a woman's not ready to have a child now, there could be other children in the future when they are ready to raise them successfully in life.
I will correct my own previous statement.
This time, I owned him in just 4 seconds.
As someone who says you were offended by the Holocaust, where millions of Jews were killed, why are you seemingly indifferent with the millions of Americans that are being killed?
Because they're not Americans. You have to be born on U.S. soil to be an American. Again, you prove my point.
In this next clip, I own him multiple times, all in the same exchange, in the same back and forth, and prove he doesn't actually really think embryos exist, and that it's just BS, he says, for political reasons.
Less than 1% of cases is it a third trimester abortion, and those cases are almost always when it is the life of the mother or serious abnormalities that the child would not survive.
So if it's less
in which case I'm not against it.
If it's less than 1%, then we should be able to abolish it. And now the Texas law, which you have been a big critic of, is at 6 weeks. 6 weeks, which we've already stated the facts, at 6 weeks the child's eyes, eyelids, nose, mouth, and tongue are formed. That sounds like a human being, not a dolphin.
No, the shape of them. They're still webbed. They're still sitting there. I don't know how boring your life has been,
let me
but
ask you a
life
question.
is not this. Sitting in gel, floating. That's not life. Life's out in the world.
So let me ask you a question.
Life's out in the world.
Over 500.
Maybe this is why you go home and you just chill at home like,
Over 500,000 people are currently hooked up to a machine and comatose. According to you, being a webbed person or being somewhat non-human is okay. Should we just pull the plug of all of them?
No, because developed living human beings are different than ones by your own terms are not living. Let me quote you yet again. You said on your YouTube, quote, Planned Parenthood conducts 300,000 abortions a year.
Yes.
That is
300,000 murders.
And then the second part of the sentence, that is 300,000 lives that never had a chance to exist. By your own words.
You know what I mean by that.
No, I don't. By your
exist.
own words, you said embryos and fetuses do not exist. It's your words.
Here, Charlie, by his own logic, admits that he has friends who are murderers. And from there, I share an important PSA for those of you who might be needing help for a pregnancy you are not ready for in your life, or that happened by means that are too unspeakable to mention. You might not know this, so I share some important facts.
Do you have any friends who have ever had an abortion?
Yes.
Okay.
And I grieve for them.
You grieve for them?
Because they were taken advantage of by people like you and the abortion industry.
Right, they were taken advantage of. That's how they feel.
That's how I feel. Many of them, by the way, if you want to talk about the mental health cost that women have after an abortion, I'm happy to talk about how most women regret having abortions, about how they have psychological damage, social damage, spiritual damage, that they wish they could take it back.
That is a BS talking point.
No, it's actually a scientific fact that abortion is actually terrible for the women, the woman.
No.
Long-term.
Unsafe abortion is terrible. Abortions are very, very safe and are very healthy to do. And in fact, for any woman watching this that is being forced to not consider an abortion as an option if they are not ready to have a child because maybe their husband or their partner or their parents are not allowing them to do so, please know you can get pills online from other countries, even if you have to, that can do a safe, painless, easy, at-home abortion, and you will not have to deal with any problems health-wise, and you're going to be all good. So know that option is out there for you.
I hope that information is helpful to any of you out there. While abortion is still legal to some degree in some parts of this country, the Supreme Court is doing its best to take that right completely away and already has done quite damage. But in this next clip, Charlie Kirk proves that he is unable and unwilling to put himself in the shoes of a woman because he knows that he could not defend his position if he actually were to have any degree of empathy for what a woman would go through in this situation. So I had no choice but to yet again smack him down very hard.
Why do you not care about the mother?
I do care about the mother. I care about the mother so much
0% you care about the mother.
I want to talk about this. So let's talk about adoption.
Look how well you again skipped right over the mother. You refuse to talk about the mother or the experience of giving birth because you don't know what it's like, nor do I.
Let's take.
You skipped right over it.
Let's
so
take
your
rape
argument
aside.
is, let's make everyone who's raped, force them to have a baby, go through that trauma, and then the trauma of giving up the baby for adoption, just so people can have a baby that don't currently have one. How about also not traumatizing women and respecting the autonomy of women? Why is it that you are in favor of limited government in every way, as small of government as possible, except in the uterus of women?
So if it's not your DNA,
you're against
why is it your
government
choice?
overreach, but not government
If it's
inner reach.
not-
And just for good measure, let's end this video with one more time where he exposes himself to very blatant, very obvious hypocrisy and admits to basically himself killing millions of people, again, by his own logic.
So I just want to make sure we're clear.
That's the science of embryology, not of lifeology. That's when an embryo begins.
You just made up a word called lifeology.
And you made up a science of embryology as though that defines birth.
I did not make a science of embryology. It is a well-studied
but you're jumping and leaping that is what life is.
So wait, do you think when DNA is
embryo.
formed, it's okay just to eliminate it? It will never be formed again. It is distinct. It is unique.
Yeah.
It is whole. The science of embryology says it starts at conception.
Well, that's a great, that's the science.
62 million human beings that were never able to live outside of the womb.
And you're a genocidal murderer every time you masturbate, Charlie.
Why?
Because there is DNA in sperm,
No, but
and every head of sperm
never
has DNA.
First of all,
and it is a distinct thing that's swimming around.
It never formed.
And there's
never
millions
fertilized
of
with
them,
an egg.
hundreds of millions.
Never
that you're
fertilized
killing
with an
in
egg.
a tissue and flushing down the toilet. Why?
Why so many people follow an admitted murderer by his own logic, yet again, will forever be beyond me. But you do you, boo. I'm Ben Gleib for Rebel HQ. Follow me at Ben Gleib on X and Instagram for lots more.